The Story of a Marmaid. Episode 2. Story by Truth Be Told. The villagers no longer stared in admiration. Their gazes were cautious, suspicious. As he walked past a group of women, he caught whispers. Have you noticed? The river, it is not the same. Yes, the water has become too still. And last night, the fish sellers caught nothing. Jai's stomach twisted. Had he done this? He forced himself to ignore the whispers and continued walking. He would not let fear ruin what he had gained. He would not let her ruin it. He stopped at a merchant's stall and picked up a string of coral beads. Something he could gift to his mother. How much? He asked. The merchant, an old woman with piercing eyes, studied him. It is not for you. Jai frowned. I have gold. I can pay. The woman shook her head. Gold from the river is not gold at all. It is a debt that will cost more than you are willing to pay. Jai's grip tightened. I do not believe in foolish superstitions. The old woman sighed. Then may the spirits have mercy on you. Jai turned away angrily. But as he walked back home, the words clung to him like a shadow. That evening, Jai sat by the river again. The water was unnaturally still, like a sheet of black glass stretching toward the horizon. The usual chirping of frogs and crickets was absent. A strange silence filled the air. Then, a ripple. Jai tensed. Slowly, something emerged from the water. Not Marmaid. Not a spirit. A man. He was tall and gaunt, his skin a sickly pale color, his eyes sunken and hollow. He wore tattered clothes that clung to his thin frame, and when he stepped onto the shore, the mud did not stick to his feet. Jai's heart pounded. He knew this man. Or rather, he knew of him. His name was Oba. He had died 3 years ago. Drowned in this very river. Yet, here he was. Alive. Or something close to it. Jai, Oba rasped, his voice like wind through dry leaves. Jai scrambled back. No, you are dead. Oba took another step forward. Yes. And so will you be, unless you listen. Jai's breath was ragged. His mind screamed for him to run, but his body would not move. You took her gift, Oba continued, his hollow eyes boring into Jai's. But she does not give freely. She will come for you. And when she does, you will not escape. Jai swallowed hard. What does she want? Oba's lips curled into something that might have been a smile, if the dead could smile. You will know, in time. Then, as suddenly as he had appeared, Oba turned and walked back into the river. The water swallowed him whole, erasing every trace of his existence. The silence returned. Jai sat frozen, his skin cold with sweat. His breath came in short gasps as he finally forced himself to stand. His debt was real, and time was running out. Jai ran home like a man being chased by death itself. His feet pounded against the dirt road, his breath ragged, his mind screaming. Oba was dead. I saw a dead man. I spoke to a dead man. By the time he reached his hut, his legs nearly gave out. He burst inside, his chest heaving, his hands shaking as he grabbed the small calabash of water near his sleeping mat. He gulped it down, but it did nothing to cool the fire of terror burning inside him. What had he done? What had he brought upon himself? The room felt too small. The walls too close. He needed air. He needed to think. But before he could move, a shadow darkened his doorway. Jai. He jumped, nearly dropping the calabash. It was Kofi. His friend stepped inside, his face etched with concern. I came to check on you. People are saying strange things. The river is quiet. The fishermen caught nothing again today. And some are saying, they saw someone at the water's edge. Someone who should not be here. Jai swallowed hard. He could still see Oba's hollow eyes in his mind. It's nothing, he lied, forcing his voice to stay steady. People love to gossip. Kofi didn't look convinced. Then why do you look like you've seen a ghost? Jai turned away, running a hand over his face. I'm fine. Kofi studied him for a long moment before sighing. Jai, listen to me. If you have done something, if you have made a mistake, you must find a way to fix it. You know what happens to those who owe the spirits. Jai felt anger bubbling beneath his fear. He was tired of the warnings. Tired of the fear. Tired of being told what he must do. What would you have me do, Kofi? He snapped. Throw away my gold. Beg for the life I had before. I will not go back to being a nobody. Kofi's face darkened. Better to be a nobody than to belong to her. Jai clenched his fists. I don't belong to anyone. Kofi shook his head. I hope, for your sake, that's true. Without another word, he turned and walked out. Jai stood there, his heart pounding. The silence in the hut pressed against him. Then, a whisper. Jai. His blood turned to ice. The voice was inside the hut. But he was alone. That night, Jai could not sleep. He lay on his mat, eyes fixed on the ceiling, every muscle in his body tense. The whispering had stopped hours ago, but the feeling had not left him. He was being watched. The gold under his mat felt heavier than ever. He turned onto his side, trying to push away the thoughts. He had to stay calm. He had to. A hand brushed against his arm. Jai bolted upright, his breath caught in his throat. His hut was dark, but he could still see the figure sitting beside him. A woman. No, her. Marmaid. She was sitting on his mat, her white cloth draped loosely around her, her dark hair flowing down her back. Her eyes glowed softly in the darkness. Jai's throat was dry. You cannot be here, he stammered. She smiled, tilting her head. Why not? Do I not own what is mine? Jai's pulse hammered. I am not yours. Marmaid reached out, trailing a cold finger down his arm. Oh, Jai, she murmured. Do you not understand? Jai forced himself to move, to scramble back, but he hit the wall. Her eyes darkened. You took my gift, my wealth. And now, you are mine. Jai shook his head. No, I never agreed. You did, she interrupted. The moment you touched my gold. The moment you took what was not yours to take. Jai's stomach twisted. You gave it to me. She laughed softly. And now, I have come to collect. Jai's breath came in short gasps. What do you want from me? Marmaid leaned closer, until her lips were near his ear. You will know, in time. And then, she was gone. Jai was alone again, his body drenched in sweat, his heart slamming against his ribs. He knew, without a doubt, that there was no way out. The debt was real, and soon, he would have to pay. Jai did not leave his hut the next morning. His body felt weak, his head heavy. He had barely slept, and when he finally closed his eyes, he had seen her. Marmaid. Her cold fingers. Her glowing eyes. Her whisper in his ear. You will know, in time. But when? How much time did he have? He forced himself to sit up, wiping the sweat from his face. The gold was still under his mat. The weight of it felt different now, like a curse instead of a gift. Then, he noticed something. His arm. His breath caught. A mark. A strange, swirling symbol now stained his skin, right where Marmaid had touched him the night before. It looked like ink but shimmered like fish scales under the dim morning light. Jai rubbed at it, scrubbed it with his palm. It did not fade. It was inside him. A mark of ownership. His stomach twisted. This was real. This was too real. By midday, the whispers in the village had grown louder. The river was still unnaturally calm. The fishermen had returned empty-handed for the third day in a row. The women washing clothes spoke of strange shadows moving beneath the water. Something was wrong. Jai stepped outside for the first time, feeling the eyes of the villagers settle on him immediately. He walked toward the market, his legs heavy. He didn't know why he was going. Maybe he just needed to see people, to feel something normal. But the moment he arrived, he knew nothing would be normal again. The people moved away from him. One by one, merchants turned their backs. Customers whispered behind their hands. Even the children, who once ran to him, now clung to their mothers. He was an outcast. Jait clenched his jaw. He would not be afraid. He would not let them push him away like a cursed man. But then, a sharp voice rang out. Thief! Jait spun around. The old merchant woman, the one who had refused to sell him beads, was pointing at him. Her wrinkled face twisted in anger. You took from the river, she shouted. You stole from her. The market fell silent. Jait's chest tightened. I stole nothing, he growled. The old woman stepped forward. Then show us your arm. Jait's blood turned cold. He took a step back. I don't have to prove anything to you. The villagers murmured. More eyes turned to him. More whispers. And then, a voice. Not human. Not of this world. It came from nowhere and everywhere at once. A voice like water flowing over rocks. You are mine, Jait. The villagers screamed. Jait clutched his head as pain shot through his skull. The world blurred, twisted. The mark on his arm burned. And then, the ground rushed toward him. Darkness swallowed him whole. Jait woke up to the sound of water. He was no longer in the market. No longer in his village. He was lying on damp sand. The smell of salt filled his nose. The ocean. How? His clothes were soaked. His body felt heavy, like he had been dragged through the waves. And when he sat up, he saw her. Marmaid, standing at the water's edge, her white cloth billowing in the wind. She smiled. Now, we begin. Jait's heart pounded. There was no escape. Not anymore. Jait tried to move. His body refused. The sand beneath him felt like it was pulling him down, dragging him closer to the waves. Marmaid stood before him, her dark eyes shining like twin moons against the endless blue of the ocean. Why are you running? She asked, tilting her head. Her voice was soft, almost amused. Jait swallowed hard. I'm not running. Her smile widened. No. A wave crashed behind her, rising higher than any wave Jait had ever seen. The water did not touch her feet. Jait's hands clenched into fists. What do you want from me? Marmaid took a step closer. You already know. His pulse thundered. You took from me, Jait, she continued. Now, you must give in return. Jait shook his head. I will return the gold. Take it back. Marmaid chuckled, the sound rippling through the air like water over rocks. Foolish man. It was never about the gold. The waves behind her grew restless, moving in unnatural patterns. Jait's breath quickened. Then what do you want? Marmaid eyes darkened. I want you. The words sent a chill down his spine. Jait tried to push himself up, tried to stand, but his body would not obey. The sand seemed to rise, creeping over his legs, his waist. No, he gasped, struggling. I won't go with you. Marmaid sighed. Why do you fight what is already decided? The waves surged forward, swallowing his feet, cold as death. Please, Jait whispered. I don't want to die. Marmaid crouched beside him, her fingers brushing against his jaw. Her touch sent a freezing shock through his bones. Who said anything about death? Jait's lips parted, but no words came. She leaned closer. I do not take life, Jait. I take souls. His vision blurred. The ocean roared in his ears. Then, darkness. Jait awoke to silence. For a moment, he thought he was dead. Then he realized, he was floating. Not in water. Not in air. Somewhere in between. The world around him was endless and shifting, the colors of the ocean and sky melting into one. He could hear the distant hum of waves, but there was no land. No sky. Only her. Marmaid stood before him, her long hair moving like ink in water. You belong to me now, she said, her voice echoing through the endless space. Jide opened his mouth to speak, but the words would not come. You will serve me, Marmaid continued. You will do as I command. And in return, you will have wealth beyond imagination. Jide's heart pounded. You mean I will be your slave? Marmaid laughed, a sound that sent ripples through the space around them. A slave? No, Jide. A servant of the deep. He shook his head. I don't want this. Marmaid's gaze turned sharp. You have no choice. The moment she spoke, something shifted inside him. A pressure in his chest. A weight in his limbs. And then, he felt it. Something inside him was changing. His skin tingled. His veins burned with something cold and ancient. Jide gasped, clutching his chest. What are you doing to me? Marmaid watched him with satisfaction. Making you one of mine. Panic surged through him. He could feel his body transforming, his breath slowing, his heartbeat sinking with the rhythm of the waves. He was losing himself. No! Jide screamed, thrashing against the invisible force pulling him deeper into the abyss. But Marmaid only smiled. You are mine now, Jide. The ocean swallowed him whole. Jide could not breathe. The water wrapped around him, cold and crushing. His limbs felt heavy, his vision blurred. The deeper he sank, the darker the world became. He struggled, fought against the invisible force pulling him down. But it was useless. His body was no longer his own. He could feel her inside him. Marmaid. Her power. Her mark. It burned in his veins like liquid ice, changing him, claiming him. And then, a voice. Do not fight it, Jide. It was inside his head. Marmaid voice, smooth and unshaken, like the still surface of deep water. You are becoming what you were always meant to be. Jide clenched his jaw. I did not ask for this. And yet, here you are. Her laughter echoed through the abyss, chilling him more than the water itself. His lungs screamed for air. His body trembled. The darkness thickened. Then, light. Blinding. Silver. It burst from his chest, spreading through the water like ink in a stream. Jide gasped as the pain turned into something else. Power. He could breathe. Not air. Not water. Something in between. His body no longer fought the deep. It welcomed it. Jide's eyes snapped open, and for the first time, he saw clearly. The ocean floor stretched out before him, vast and endless. Strange plants swayed in unseen currents, their colors shifting with every movement. Schools of glowing fish darted past, their bodies leaving trails of silver light. And above him, far, far above, Marmaid floated, watching him. You are ready, she said. Jide looked down at his hands. His skin shimmered, smooth like polished stone, reflecting the glow of the deep. His fingers were longer, stronger. He could feel the water moving around him, bending to his will. He was not the same. He was something else. Jide looked back at the Marmaid, his voice steady. What have you done to me? She smiled. I have given you a gift. Jide's hands curled into fists. This is a curse. Marmaid tilted her head. A curse? Look around you, Jide. You are no longer bound by the weaknesses of men. You are more than you were before. Jide's jaw tightened. He did feel stronger, lighter, faster. But at what cost? Marmaid swam closer, her eyes gleaming. There is a balance to all things, Jide. You took from me. Now, you must give. Jide's heart pounded. You will serve me, Marmaid continued. You will walk between the land and the water. You will bring me what I desire. His breath hitched. And if I refuse? The ocean trembled. The water around him turned ice cold. Marmaid's smile did not falter. Then the sea will take you, Jide. And you will never return. The weight of her words crashed over him. There was no escape. Marmaid extended her hand. Choose now, Jide. Jide stared at her fingers, at the dark mark still burned into his own skin. If he refused, he would die. If he accepted, he would no longer belong to himself. Slowly, his hand reached forward. His fingers met hers, and the deep swallowed him whole. The mark of the deep. Jide felt the moment he ceased to be human. The second his fingers touched Marmaid, his fate was sealed. The ocean shuddered around him. A surge of energy rushed through his body, powerful, overwhelming, ancient. It was like being reborn. He arched his back, gasping as invisible forces twisted through his veins, shaping him into something new. He could hear the ocean breathing. He could feel the water speaking. Every ripple, every current, every unseen force that moved beneath the surface, he could sense it all. It was as if the sea itself had welcomed him into its secret world. And yet, a cold fear gripped his heart. What have I done? Jide opened his eyes, and the world had changed. Colors danced in the water, shimmering blues and silvers that had been invisible to him before. The creatures of the deep swam past, no longer fearful of his presence. And Marmaid, she stood before him, radiant, her hair flowing like ink in the current. Her eyes bore into him, filled with satisfaction. You are mine now, Jide. Jide's chest rose and fell with slow, steady breaths. He could breathe underwater, but his mind screamed for air. He had made a deal with something far greater than himself. His voice was hoarse when he spoke. What do you want from me? Marmaid tilted her head, a smirk playing at her lips. You are now marked. You walk between two worlds. You will do my bidding. Carry out my will. Jide swallowed hard. And if I refuse? Marmaid gaze darkened. The water around them trembled. The pressure grew, pressing against Jide's chest. He gritted his teeth. I see, he muttered. I don't have a choice. Marmaid smiled, slow and knowing. You always have a choice, Jide. But some choices lead to places darker than the ocean floor. Jide clenched his fists. He wanted to fight, to resist. But the mark on his skin burned. It owned him now. Marmaid turned, the water swirling around her. Come. Jide hesitated. He could feel it. The pull. Something in his body no longer belonged to him. He followed. They swam through the abyss, deeper than Jide ever thought possible. The pressure should have crushed him. The darkness should have swallowed him whole. But he was not the same. His body moved effortlessly through the water, slicing through currents as if he had been born beneath the waves. He was no longer just a man. He was something more. Ahead, a massive structure emerged from the shadows. Jide's breath caught. It was a palace. Not made of stone or wood, but of water itself. It pulsed with life, shifting and changing as though it were breathing. Strange glowing creatures circled its towers, their bodies shimmering in colors Jide had never seen before. It was beautiful. And terrifying. Mami Wada turned to him. This is my kingdom. Jide's jaw tightened. He had always heard stories of the water spirit's realm. A place no human could reach. Yet here he was. Mami Wada glided forward, leading him inside. The walls moved as they entered, parting like liquid glass. Inside, the space stretched endlessly, filled with creatures that should not exist. Men and women with gills and glowing eyes. Serpents curled around pillars of light. Figures with long, webbed fingers and scales that shimmered like gold. They turned as Jide passed, their gazes filled with curiosity. Another one. A voice whispered. A new servant. Another murmured. Jide's chest tightened. Marmaid stopped before a massive throne, carved from black coral. She turned to face him. Your new life begins now, Jide. Jide's fists clenched at his sides. And if I want my old life back? Marmaid's smile was slow, cruel. There is no going back. Gide's heart pounded. The truth settled over him like the weight of the ocean itself. He had crossed a line. And there was no returning.